more often.
The president reported ready to call up the reserves. He says our way of life is at stake in the Middle East. And Saddam Hussein moves to make an ally of Iran. This is the CBS Evening News. Bob Schieffer in New York. Dan Rather is anchoring our on-scene Mideast coverage tonight from Baghdad, Iraq. Good evening. President Bush is believed to be very close tonight to ordering thousands of U.S. military reservists to active duty as the buildup of American forces in Saudi Arabia continues. Earlier today, the president went to the Pentagon for briefings on the situation and afterward used some of his strongest language since the crisis erupted, saying at one point the American way of life was at stake. He'll meet with Jordan's King Hussein in Kennebunkport, Maine tomorrow to discuss the crisis, and there was one development today that caught almost everyone by surprise. Iraqi leader Saddam Hussein made peace overtures to his longtime enemy, Iran. Dan Rather is in the Iraqi capital of Baghdad, as we say, and we spoke with him just a while ago.
We drove in from the airport. You could see old-fashioned anti-aircraft batteries and sites which seem to be missile protection sites, as most countries have around their airports. We drove past Iraqi's Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, past the Great Gate of the recent Arab Summit, and as we drove, it's clear that while Baghdad is at one level normal, on another level it's on a war footing. And if anything, the situation may be hardening here. People think there may be an invasion.
And Dan, what information do you have about the Americans who are in Iraq?
These appear to be the facts. American diplomats and dependents, a group of them who've been trying to leave the country, were stopped at the border in the not too distant hours, once again, and not allowed to leave the country. That's taken very seriously as a sign in this part of the world. Our quick check here shows that there are 35 Americans who are being held at a hotel. Then there's 75 to 100 other Americans, businessmen, teachers, people passing through the country, who are not being allowed to leave. Now that's in Iraq itself. Now, however President Bush and the U.S. State Department considers those people, throughout the Middle East, they are considered to be de facto hostages. With the 35 Americans who are being confined, in effect, to their hotel, there's hardship on the medical side, we're told. Financial hardships are beginning to build up, and then there are all kinds of human hardships. The television news here today was filled with Saddam Hussein's overture to Iran. This was his offer to withdraw from some territories occupied in that long, murderous war with Iran, and offering an olive branch to Iran in order to reduce the international isolation that Iraq now finds itself in.
I wonder how much stock do you think that the Iraqis are placing on King Hussein's mission to this country?
The greatest hope of the Iraqis is that Jordan's King Hussein will somehow, some way, be able to convince President Bush that President Bush has been listening to the wrong people about what kind of man, what kind of leader Saddam Hussein is. That it will be the Jordanian king's role to try to say in effect to President Bush, listen, you know, there are a lot of things about him you may not like, but he's not a madman. You can do business with him. You can trust him. That will be a very tough sell with President Bush, but this is what the hope in Baghdad is. It's also the hope among the Jordanians.
Dan Rather, of course, reporting tonight from Baghdad. In this country, President Bush's latest message for Saddam Hussein could not have been clearer. In a toughly worded speech delivered from the Pentagon, Mr. Bush said that the Iraqi leader's behavior would not be tolerated, and he said Iraqi forces must get out of Kuwait. Our White House correspondent Wyatt Andrews has our report on that.
George Bush's speech at the Pentagon had the sound of a president girding the nation for a long standoff and perhaps military confrontation.
Our jobs, our way of life, our own freedom, and the freedom of friendly countries around the world would all suffer if control of the world's great oil reserves fell into the hands of that one man, Saddam Hussein.
Mr. Bush took aim at Saddam Hussein personally, casting scorn on his efforts to exhort a Muslim jihad